Hi, Karl. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Not really, though, right?
No, although not surprising.
Right.
I don't think anybody, given what the former president has said in the past, as it relates to Ukraine and Russia, it's not surprising at all. And that's unfortunate.
I guess I just wasn't prepared for in the middle of it. In the middle of bloodshed beginning. Him saying, a smart move, nice piece of land for $2 of sanctions, good job. I mean,
And then half the Republican Party going along with that.
Right. What is it, that poll, 60%, Karl, to put on your political strategist hat? 60% of Republicans say, Putin's a stronger leader than Biden. I'm just like, I guess is long gone, standing together, on, American soil when there's an international crisis, right?
Yeah, they don't believe in that. They just don't. And it's wildly unfortunate that we are in this predicament, in part because of the relationship that Donald Trump had with Ukraine and Russia for 4 years. And, if we'd had a president who was truly willing to stand up to Russia without being, dragged there crying and wailing, and then only tepidly so, perhaps we wouldn't be in this situation. Perhaps this is not the relationship that would have been.
No, exactly right. I just, it's so hard to, I don't know, again, as I sit, my dad's right there, World War II, Nuremberg prosecutor. I just don't, I'm not even sure, like, how we proceed in this America today, where the gaslighting is at the level that Putin is saying, I'm getting Nazis out of what, Ukraine? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a level of gaslighting I think we haven't seen before. And meanwhile, all the people that stand together here, these Nazi flags pop up, right? All the same at pro-Trump rallies and, anti-vaccine rallies. I mean, what is your take on just how this plays out politically in this country?
Well, I think the good guys will ultimately win.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a long time. Yeah. And we're not going to win every time. I think we have to be ready for this political process to play out over an extended period of time. I'm talking years. There will be elections that we win and elections that we lose. And when we give up, that's when we actually lose.
Yeah.
We're going to have to beat this back and force the Republican Party back into a state of sanity.
Well, speaking of, cultural issues and all of that, I guess the American people are against book banning, as it turns out, as we move into your area of education. I mean, and Eric Boehlert said it best. He said GOP today is pro-COVID and pro-Putin. Why does the press have such a hard time being honest about that? Okay, one more. Speaking of 1 degree of Stephanie Miller separation, Dean Obeidallah, our friend, tweeted, literally, WTF. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is calling on licensed professionals and members of the general public to report the parents of transgender minors to state authorities if it appears the minors are receiving gender-affirming medical care. What the actual is happening in this country, Karl? I mean, between the Don't Say Gay bill and, also just this creepy aspect that they've had in Texas before about ratting people out. Rat someone out if you think maybe they've had an abortion. I'm getting to a point where I don't recognize my country anymore.
Well, here we had the governor putting up a email address asking people to report on what they consider to be suspicious activity of their teachers. But it's going to continue to go this way unless we stand up and turn these people back at the ballot box. I think it is basically proven at this point that Governor Abbott of Texas is a monster.
Yeah.
He's a caricature of a human being, and the only way to stop him from doing these kinds of things is to beat him at the ballot box.
Yeah. Karl, I want to finish by asking you a question I've been asking all week, because I have friends with toddlers who, literally a day into homeschooling 2 years ago were like, oh my God, we need to pay teachers $1 billion. Oh my God, I've been homeschooling for an hour and 43 minutes and I want to kill myself. I mean, How do we get from that to Republicans successfully pitting teachers against parents? And how do we take that back for the midterms?
Well, to be clear, it's not all parents, right?
Yeah,
there are many parents that support our educators. And in fact, I would say most parents support our educators. The only way we're going to fix the teaching profession is by changing the sales pitch we have around education and around teaching. You can't expect to attract the number of teachers we need, of qualified educators that we need, when the sales pitch is, come work for us. You will love working with these kids. We won't pay you enough, and we will kind of respect you sometimes. That's not a sales pitch that lands people jobs.
Right.
And we're going to put surveillance cameras in to monitor you.
Right.
Yeah.
So in order to fix the sales pitch around teaching, we need to show them the respect they deserve. We need to give them the time that they need to plan so they can be successful. And we need to pay them a wage that will keep them in the profession.
Yep. Hear, hear. All right, Karl, great stuff as always. Even missing every other word, you're still brilliant. Not many people can do that.
Absolutely.
I was afraid when I came back you were going to be speaking Russian.
That's so not funny. And funny still. Okay. I love you. Goodbye. See you next
Karl.
week.
Thanks, Karl.